let's start off with, let's go over your UFC on Versus 5 scheduled fight with Danny Castillo. That's set for August 14th of this year. Um, Tell me about your thoughts on this fight. We'll just get some generic stuff out of the way.
Well, he's a wrestler, so I'm assuming he's going to come in, he's going to throw some punches and try and take me down, which is fine. I'm going to try to stay staying with him, I think, today. I was working my stand-up it was working pretty good. My stand-up's getting a lot better, working on it 2-3 times a week, pretty consistently. So I'm going to try and stay standing and finish it on the feet.
Okay. In the wrestling aspect, you're obviously a wrestler too, a bit more decorated than that of Mr. Castillo. If it comes down to that, are you pretty confident in that area that you'll be able to dominate him in the wrestling game?
Yeah. No doubt.
Okay. And as far as him as an opponent is concerned, he just knocked off Joe Stevenson, who's a former #1 contender. He's currently riding a 3-fight winning streak in the lightweight division. What do you think about him overall as a fighter?
I never really got to watch much of him, just a little bit here and there, but I never really watched the whole fight, so I don't know much about him. So I can't really say too much about him.
Okay, sorry. Have you not studied film on him yet? Or has it not come to that? Or?
I haven't studied too much yet. No.
Okay. All right. Well, let's talk about you. You recently made your lightweight debut back in March of last year. Since then, you've had 3 successful outings in the UFC's lightweight division. Do you feel better at 155 than you did at welterweight?
No, they feel about the same, actually. I didn't really feel the difference. They were a little heavier. They hit a little harder, but they're slower. So you give and take. It doesn't matter. Okay. I just got thrown to the wolves there because I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know it was going to be that competitive. When you get out there, I was only doing one and a half workouts a day, and now that I'm fighting UFC, I'm doing 2-3 days. You really got to step up the amount of work, and then you got to refine it quite a bit more.
Okay, so in your first 2 UFC outings, obviously they didn't go the way you wanted them against Paulo Thiago and Martin Kampmann.
Right.
You learned something in those fights, and in that time frame you weren't training like you are now. That's my understanding. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, I learned more than I would never give up those 2 fights. Even now, even with the losses, I'm glad I took those fights because I learned more in those fights than I did the 3 years leading up to it.
Okay. And would you ever consider going back up to welterweight, or is lightweight your new home?
Well, I think lightweight is my new home. I'm kind of small for welterweight, and most of the fans I talked to, they're happy that I went down, so I'm stuck there.
Okay, sounds good. I want to talk about your last fight against Antonio McKee. I actually have a few questions on that. One is, and I've already read your statement on this, but just to clarify for our readers on BJPenn.com, did he bite you? That one picture that the UFC captured looks like he may have bit you. I mean, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I didn't feel the bite. I don't doubt it because it was on UFC.com. So I didn't feel the bite. I didn't see any marks on me afterwards. So it probably was just him gritting down on my skin. It caught my skin somehow. But no, I didn't feel it.
Okay, and then also, that Antonio McKee, he was a guy that had a pretty brash personality. He, for lack of a better term, he was kind of a loudmouth, saying that he was going to destroy the UFC guys. He's been calling out BJ Penn for years, and whoever's been holding the UFC lightweight title, he wants to fight. He was on a real long winning streak when he faced you, and you beat him, and the UFC released him. And I'm just wondering, did you get any feedback from the UFC? I mean, like, good job on getting rid of this problem for us, Jacob, or anything like that?
No, they never said anything.
No?
I didn't hear anything from them or any of the. Most of the stuff I heard was mostly because of my comment afterwards, but I didn't really hear anything about the fight.
Right. And your comment afterwards, you're speaking of,
Obama.
Yeah, you made headlines with that too, huh? You even made primetime television.
Yeah, I think it was a good move on my part because that fight was so boring. I didn't really feel, I wasn't too happy with how I fought that fight. It took the bad publicity from the fight and it turned it over to something that I'm actually trying to get going again.
Right. Let's talk about that. I obviously keep my ears to the ground. I heard that you won an actual one-on-one. You won a meeting face-to-face with Obama. Is that right?
Yeah, that would be nice to find out what he's thinking when he's writing these policies, if he is actually thinking, or if it's him even writing these policies. I'm not really sure.
So do you pay attention to politics and stuff like that? Are you big into that?
Well, not really. Just the things that affect me, because I'm a chiropractor and I grew up on a farm and a small business owner, and there's a lot of the policies that he's writing up and they're affecting me, and it could be written a lot better. That's sure. And plus, that making home affordable plan really messed up the housing market. The people trying to keep their houses and trying to the banks and get their interest rate lowered so they can actually afford keeping it.
Mhm.
And then
you don't think that's a good policy?
That's a horrible one.
Why is that?
Because what it did was to ensure that the banks are going to get the money back, so they don't have to negotiate with the homeowner to try and lower the interest rate, so they can actually try and keep the house. And I speak from firsthand. I don't want to say too much of what happened to me because my wife doesn't want me to.
Right.
But I speak from experience.
Okay, gotcha. Fair enough. What do you think of, since we're on the political subject real quick, there was really big news a couple weeks ago that the U.S. government went in there and got rid of Osama bin Laden.
They were planning for that for 4 years, weren't they?
Yeah.
So why is the credit going to Obama is what I wanted to know.
Right.
Because they were planning, they built a replica complex of that they trained on it for I don't know how long they trained on it for, but they must have trained on it for years because they had to find out where the guys were, where the guards were, and where he was sleeping and stuff. Mm-hmm. So Obama just gave the go-ahead to attack, which was good timing on him. It actually would have been perfect timing next year when the election, it's getting close to the election.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about an almost politician, Chael Sonnen. I don't know if you know this or not, but since I have you on the phone, this is going to be hot news all day today. He just got done with his California State Athletic Commission hearing. Like, I'm just getting the updates live on my computer right now as we're talking. And the commission just passed a 4-1 motion to keep his indefinite suspension in place.
His indefinite suspension?
Yep.
So he's going to be suspended for a long time, huh?
Yeah. According to Chael's testimony, Dana White had told him, and either it's true or not, I don't know, but Dana White had told him that if he didn't get his license back today, that he was going to be retired.
That sucks. I thought he was a good fighter.
He's a good fighter.
I don't know. Was he taking those steroids for just for rehabilitation, or was he taking them to over long term just to get an edge on people?
No, what he claimed was he was under the TRT, the testosterone replacement therapy, that he had a deficiency, and that it was just for medical reasons. That his testosterone levels have always been within the normal range, and he never exceeded, outside of the normal range for his size and weight.
Even when he was on them?
Yeah, even when he was on them. Yeah, that he's been regulated on it by a medical doctor, and his levels have been checked.
Oh, he has been?
Yeah. Yeah.
So he got hosed pretty bad then.
Yeah.
I think the California Athletic Commission has their head up their butt because they did the same thing to Sean Shirk. He was innocent of the steroids.
Oh. Exactly.
Remember that? Back in the day, that was just before he beat Penn.
Yep, exactly. He lost his title over that.
Yep.
Okay, so enough of the politics stuff. UFC versus 5 fight. How have you started your training camp for this fight already, or is it still too far out for that?
Oh, I haven't really stopped. I train every day I'm just going to start running more. So I'm going to gradually start running more. Then once it gets 8 weeks, I'm going to have my running schedule. I'm going to have my training. So I'm going to have 100% within 8 weeks of the fight.
Okay.
I should have 2 or 3 workouts a day.
All right. And where are you training? Give our readers some insight and our listeners some insight on where you're training and who you train with and who develops your camp and stuff like that.
Well, I'm training at the Martial Arts Academy. It's theacademymn.com. Under Greg Nelson. Ever heard of Greg Nelson?
Yes.
He trains Sean Shirk. Nick Lentz is there. Paul Bradley's there. There's a few newer guys that aren't in the UFC. Zach Jusula, he'll be there shortly, I think. Mike Richmond, Jordan Parsons. There's a bunch of good guys there to train with at my weight and at 170 and 145.
Okay. And
Greg, he pretty much runs the scheduling of. Schedule's already set. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday we do grappling. And Tuesday and Thursday and Saturday we do sparring. Muay Thai, or sometimes it's shoot sparring, shoot wrestling.
Okay. Okay, sounds good. And that camp, how long have you been with them?
I've been with those guys for almost
4 years?
Yeah, I'm gonna stay there. I'll never leave.
Okay, good. And what do you think about the future of the other guys? You mentioned Nick Lentz. He's definitely an up-and-comer. Give me your thoughts on him.
Oh, he's a great fighter. He's learning. It seems like he's got one new slick move every month. He's trying to work, and his stand-up's getting better. He's always throwing. He's pretty good with his leg kicks, and his takedowns from leg kicks are pretty darn good too. So it's good to be getting in the UFC about the same time as him, because we're both improving about the same.
Okay, awesome.
So a lot to work on though.
Yeah. Now a win over Danny Castillo in August. That would be your 4th consecutive win in the UFC's 155 division. Where do you think that puts you as far as rankings? I mean, it's obviously a really stacked division, but what would you like to see next?
I would like a top 10 contender.
Like
that would be nice.
Yeah. Okay.
I was trying to get a top 10 contender. She's talking about Jim Miller, but I think he's looking for someone because he should be going for a title here shortly.
Right. He's about due for sure.
Yeah. So I think it would have been a little too early for me to be fighting him because he's a contender now.
Right. Any other names that stand out to you besides Jim Miller?
No, not really. I called out Guida for my post-fight interview when I called out Obama. I would love to fight Guida because it'd be a fun fight.
Right.
He's all around. He's very active. It'd be fun to fight him.
All right. He has a fight coming up first part of next month against Anthony
Pettis.
Yep. What do you think about that fight? Who are you picking in that one?
I've never seen Pettis fight before, so I have no idea. I'm sticking with Guida just because he's a good fighter. I've seen him fight before, and I don't know how Pettis. I only seen that one highlight where he jumped off the cage and knocked that guy out with a kick.
Right. Yeah, that's his claim to fame.
Yeah, that's all. I saw that. That's it.
Yeah. So, just a few more questions. Are you an active, like a very active fan of MMA, or is it more of a job to you? Because you said you haven't watched Danny Castillo's fights and you haven't watched much of Anthony Pettis, or is it just because they were the WEC and you didn't really pay much attention to the WEC?
I don't know. It is a job. I take this seriously as a job. It's more. I don't really have to. I have 3 kids. I'm a chiropractor and I coach high school wrestling. But I really don't have time to go to the bars and watch the fights. I go to bed at 8:30. So if I'm going to be watching the fights, it's going to be online.
Okay.
And I'd like to watch them more. They're fun to watch, but I just don't have the time.
Okay. And you still have an active chiropractic business?
Yep. I have an office in White Bear Lake.
Okay.
Minnesota.
Do you ever see yourself taking fighting full-time and letting some of the other stuff go in the future?
Oh, I already have. I only do appointment only for my clinic.
Uh-huh.
And then for coaching, it's probably 14 hours a week. So fighting really, you only need to work out. If you're working out hard, you only need to work out 3 hours a day. You don't really need hours and hours in the gym. Just
Right.
in and out. Take care of what you need to get done.
Okay.
I have plenty of time.
Okay. Yeah, I use the comparison of Chris Lytle, who fights. He's a fighter and he's a fireman, and he said that he will always be a fireman. Even probably past the point where he's retired from fighting. Do you see yourself in a similar situation there with what you have going on besides your fighting career?
Yeah, this is actually, I'm trying to build my chiropractic office, so then when I'm done fighting, I can just go over to that and continue making a living.
Okay.
I don't have to go back to school or get a job doing something I really hate doing.
Okay, makes sense. All right, Jacob. Well, you giving me some good information here. Is there anything I missed that maybe you want to say that you want the world to know before I let you go?
Oh, Jesus. Volkmann for president, 2012. I wish it could happen, but it's not going to happen. I got T-shirts made to Volkmann for president. More of a jest than anything.
Really?
I think I'm going to try and wear them out for my next fight if the UFC lets me.
Yeah, you should do that. If they'll let you, you should do that. That's funny. All right, man. Anything else? Are we good?
No.
I'm good. You're good.
Okay, I'm good.
Good. All right, let's do this. If it's okay with you, I will contact you when it gets closer to fight. We'll do a follow-up interview, and we'll get some of the more specific fight questions out of the way, if that's cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
Awesome, Jacob. Thank you very much for your time, man. I'll get this interview up on the website tomorrow, so you'll be able to check it out on bjpenn.com. Do you have a Twitter?
Okay.
Do you have a Twitter or a Facebook or anything like that? Website?
Yeah. My Twitter is Jacob Volkmann, 2 N's.
Okay. Awesome.
And then Facebook's the same.
Okay. Awesome. I'll find you, and then I'll link our readers over to your Facebook and your Twitter, so you can
That's awesome.
get that exposure.
Because the UFC is giving bonuses for Twitter now.
That's right.
What
do you think about that real quick before I let you
What do I think about that? I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
They're trying to promote themselves, and they're giving us bonuses for doing work now.
Yeah. Pretty cool. It's a pretty cool concept. Unique thing that they're doing. Awesome.
I'm trying to get the Obama. I was doing you know how Twitter works, if you at and you put the person's name or the person whatever it is. I was atting Barack Obama, trying to get some of his followers. I think he blocked me now.
That's funny. Working that angle, bro. It's golden.
No. I don't think he likes me too, or if it's not even him that's using Twitter.
Yeah, probably not.
No, it's kind of like Brock Lesnar. He doesn't even know what Twitter is, and someone else already has his Twitter up there.
Yeah, exactly.
It's verified too.
Yeah.
Did you know I trained with BJ Penn back before I knew who he was?
Did you really?
Yeah. Yep. He went to he was doing some kind of documentary. He was traveling around, and do you know who Joey Clark? He trains with BJ Penn.
Yep.
He brought him over to train Greco with me and Joey, because I was training for the world team.
Mhm.
he was in there. I was like, "Who's this guy?" So him and BJ's brother were in there training. They didn't have any cameras in there, I don't think, but they did a documentary. I think they might have had some cameras in there. I'm not too sure.
Interesting. How'd that go? What was your experience with that?
Well, I wasn't too impressed with him, but he had good balance. That's all I remember. He had good balance, but he didn't know too much about Greco. Now he should know quite a bit, because Joey Clark, he was always top 8 in the world, the Olympic ladder. He's training BJ now.
Right.
So I'm assuming BJ's Greco's gotten a lot better.
Yeah, I'm sure it has. How long ago was this? Do you recall?
Yeah, it was 2005, 2006.
Okay. A while ago.
I think it was 2006, to be exact.
Okay. Cool. That's interesting.
You got to ask him whatever happened to that documentary.